Imagine having a migraine that feels like it's never going to go away, and the prescribed pills you have only ease it for a little bit, but it comes back and it's still strong as ever. And you just wonder, when is it going to go away? What can I do to help ease the pain? Well, there's an alternative choice, and you qualify for medical marijuana. But before that, you need to know that medical marijuana is also an issue because too many people can access it that don't have a record of mental or physical health. And therefore, we need to have restrictions in order to we need to have more restrictions in order to apply for your card and more precautions when given your card. Also, in order for people to be able to access their medical marijuana dispensaries, it needs to be legalized in a federal level. I have a cousin who used to suffer from very bad migraines, and she was on the highest dosage of any of her prescribed pills, but it never really went away. And she kept wondering, am I going to have to wait for the next drug or a new dosage? But finally, she went up to a doctor and asked, do I qualify for medical marijuana? And she did. This is an example of why medical marijuana is beneficial and a real reason to get a card. This is also an example on how getting a card for medical marijuana should be. Also, it shows that doctors knew that she had a problem with migraines and knew that the prescribed drugs weren't helping. And so if she hadn't sought for it, she would have never gotten the relief. And could she have still gotten it even if no one knew or she didn't go see a doctor? Most likely yes. Medical marijuana is easily accessed and taken for granted because many people know how to abuse the process and able to get their medical marijuana card. This is what I will be discussing: the problem with medical marijuana getting abused and how the solution is to make it more accessible and harsher with a better system. Dive into the problem with medical marijuana. Too many people have the ability to get a medical marijuana card who don't have a record of a mental or physical illness. And the reason is with these examples from Leafy Pal. In Oklahoma, you just need to be 18 or older, and you need to go online and fill out an application, which will take 10 to 15 minutes. Then you need to find a licensed medical marijuana physician to evaluate you for 30 minutes. And everyone is entitled to try out medical marijuana and see if it fits for them. But the fact that it's a 30-minute evaluation, you can take those 30 minutes to tell what the doctor wants to hear or needs to hear in order to get your medical marijuana. There isn't anyone who doesn't need help from medical marijuana, but there are the people who will abuse it just to smoke marijuana. Now that I've covered the problems, let me tell you the solution. I found a solution that will help limit how easy it is and help it be less abused. Instead of a 30-minute evaluation, the patient should see a medical licensed physician for at least 3 months and have a prior background of a mental illness and at least be on some prescribed drugs for at least 3 to 4 months. For this is to be able to see how the person reenacts seeing them twice a month or once a month to see if they really truly do need it, and to see if the medication they are on is the right dosage or the right medication. Also, you need to restrict the ounces. You need to restrict the ounces and the use of being able to fill your medical marijuana card. Instead of once every 2 weeks, it should be once every 3 weeks, and you should get about 3.5 ounces instead of 2.5. So you have a longer time to use it than just waiting. Many people argue that medical marijuana can be a gateway drug. But how you can stop that from happening is controlling the intake / consumption you take and the free amount you smoke it, and the environment you are in while you have it will determine if it's going to be a gateway or not. DrugAbuse.org states that other factors besides biological mechanisms, such as a person's social environment, are also critical in a person's risk or drug use. An alternative to the gateway drugs is if the person is more accessible to it with prior histories. That's why. My friend's grandfather has stage 4 throat cancer, and so he doesn't have a lot of time left, and he's in a lot of pain. He's just very exhausted every day. So with that in mind, imagine a loved one with a terminal illness. They're in pain. They don't have any energy. They don't know what to do. They're on dozens of medications to help, and all the medications don't ease the pain. They help the side effects of medications. So it just keeps piling and piling. Okay, now think of the grandfather again. My friend's grandfather. He went to Oklahoma and he asked if he could get medical marijuana for his pain and his exhaustion. And they gave him a license. But since he lives in Texas, he has to drive 3.5 hours to the closest dispensary in Oklahoma and 3.5 hours back. That's 6.5 hours with a guy with stage 4 throat cancer. He already has no energy, is already tired. He just is in pain. So that's why it should be accessible for everyone in all 50 states, so they don't have to waste the little energy they have to try to get a little relief. What you can do in order to help legalize marijuana and help spread awareness about making it harsher and stricter to the people without terminal illnesses is going and supporting a local organization, and just when you get the chance to tell people the positives about it.